such a fun question. Okay, let me break it down because there's a few questions here. The first one, do you think pets communicate with each other telepathically, cat to cat? And what about cats to dogs? Okay, yes, 100% animals definitely communicate telepathically to each other within species and within other species. Animals are naturally telepathic, they're naturally tuned into this kind of stuff. That's like their baseline communication level. So, yes, they're definitely communicating all the time. And then the other part of the question, and do cats and dogs and ornate animals communicate differently to you? So, also, yes, I would say each species feels a little bit different, and also each animal, even like different cats, also different dogs, they all have their unique personalities that come through. And I would say there's some commonalities between the different species. Like cats generally tend to be a little bit more quiet and shy, or sometimes like harder to actually break into. They can also be more attitude, and at least in my experience, like not as willing to give up as much information. But there's also some cats that are completely opposite of that, where they're just super excited to talk with you and are just want to talk a lot and give a lot of information. Um, and then, not specifically asked in this, but I thought it would be a good thing to also bring up is wild animals, because that's a really interesting thing. I haven't just connected with that many wild animals. The times that I've tried, it wasn't, I felt like there was more resistance for me actually like tuning in. They weren't as talkative. Um, and that could be they're busy trying to hunt, they're busy doing their thing, they don't want to talk, or they've never had a human try to talk to them. So that's definitely something that I want to try to do more of, is really tapping into wild animals. So I'll have to keep you updated on my progress doing that. But I do know that there are people out there that very frequently talk with wild animals, and they're used to it. So I'm going to tag a resource. I think her name is Kara, and she does a lot of stuff with more wild animals and things like that, which is really cool if you want to check her out. And then just a note on wild animal to wild animal, because that's also a very interesting relationship, and it's kind of interesting. So similarly to when I try to connect to an animal, or like just generally any kind of like spirit or someone on the past, you can kind of have your guard up and prevent anyone from coming in. Animals also can be where they just don't want to talk right now, like, sorry, I'm busy. So when it's an animal in the wild, like a predator-prey relationship, the predator kind of like turns off their, whatever you want to call it, their communication line, so that the prey actually doesn't know that they're coming. Because you would think if they're like always communicating telepathically, then it's like, well, how does any animal ever get their prey? And that's kind of how they just like turn it off so that they can, like sneak up and do their thing. So that's a really good question. Thank you, Herb, for asking. And if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments.